Virgo, let me paint you a picture. Not a vague one, not a spiritual one that lives only in feeling and possibility. A concrete one with specific details that you can actually see and feel in your body rather than just understand in your mind. Welcome, and give me a moment of your full attention, because what I am about to describe is your life. Not too far from now, there is a version of your life coming that you have not yet been able to fully imagine. Not because the imagination is lacking, but because imagining something you have never experienced, something whose specific texture is outside your current frame of reference, is genuinely difficult. You can know that something will be better without being able to feel what better actually feels like from the inside until you are inside it. That is what the title means. When it says you do not even realize how happy you will be, it is not a critique of your ability to hope. It is an acknowledgement that some things have to be lived to be fully understood, and what is coming is going to be one of those things. Let me start with the home, because it is in the title, and because I think of everything that is forming for you. The home energy carries something particularly significant, something that goes beyond the practical, beyond just having somewhere to live. Home is a fundamental human need, not just in the shelter sense, in the safety sense, the sense that says there is a place in the world that is yours, that you chose or that chose you, that reflects who you are. That feels like an extension of yourself rather than a temporary situation you are managing or tolerating or simply making do with while you wait for something better. There is a new home energy forming in your life. New does not necessarily mean a different physical location, although it may mean exactly that. It could also mean a transformation of where you are, a settling into something, a making permanent of something that has been temporary, a sense of yours arriving in a place or a situation that previously felt contingent or provisional or not quite settled. What I want you to feel is the particular quality of waking up somewhere that is actually yours. That does not belong to a circumstance you are waiting to leave or a situation you are trying to escape, but somewhere that is genuinely yours in the way that home is home. When it actually fits, that is coming. Now let me talk about the money, because I want to be direct about it in the way that I think you actually need, rather than the way that is comfortable. You have been managing financially in a way that has required more creativity and discipline and tolerance of uncertainty than most people understand. The specific mental energy required to live in financial tightness is enormous and almost invisible to those who have not experienced it. It is not just the math of it. It is the constant background calculation, the running of numbers in moments that should be about something else, the saying no to things not because you do not want them, But because they are not in the margin, the anxiety that shows up uninvited at inconvenient moments, dressed as practicality, the particular weight of knowing that one unexpected thing could change everything, and not in a good way. You have been carrying that, probably for longer than you should have had to, probably longer than people around you fully realize, with a dignity and a functionality that has kept the full extent of it invisible. To most people who interact with you, that is ending. More money is coming. I want to say that plainly, without dressing it up, without softening it into something more spiritual or less specific. More money in real and practical form. That changes the calculation. That removes the constant background noise of financial anxiety. That creates the specific and extraordinary experience of being able to say yes to something without immediately running the numbers to check if yes is possible. Let me tell you what more money actually feels like from the inside, because I want you to feel it now, before it arrives, so you know what you are moving toward. It feels like exhaling a full body exhale that your chest has been waiting to do for so long that you have forgotten what it felt like before the holding, before the managing, before the constant calculation. It feels like space in your thinking where the financial worry used to live, that is now available for other things, creative things, joyful things, present things, things that are actually happening right now, rather than the future catastrophe that anxiety was always preparing you for. And it feels like a particular kind of generosity becoming possible. The ability to give, not from what remains after everything else is covered, but from genuine overflow. The giving that feels good because it is coming from abundance, rather than from scarcity that is trying to be generous anyway. That is what is coming. The exhale, the space, the overflow. Whew. Now I want to speak about stability. Because of the three things in this message: home, money, stability. Stability is the one that is hardest to describe, but in many ways, the most significant. Stability is not stagnation. I want to make that clear, because Virgo especially sometimes associates stability with the absence of growth, with things being too settled, too predictable, too lacking in the aliveness that challenge and change produce. Real stability is something different. Real stability is a foundation, something solid underneath everything else. That allows the everything else to be more creative, more adventurous, more fully expressed, precisely because the foundation is solid and does not require constant maintenance and management just to remain intact. You have been spending enormous energy maintaining an unstable foundation, keeping things from falling apart, holding together what should have been solid enough to hold itself without you having to pour everything into the maintaining and therefore having nothing left for the building, the creating, the living, that the maintaining was supposed to support what is coming, is a foundation that holds itself, that does not require constant intervention, that you can stand on without monitoring it every moment to make sure it has not shifted or cracked or begun the slide into something precarious. That foundation frees everything, and I mean everything. The creative energy, the emotional availability, the capacity for joy, the ability to be fully present in the good moments rather than half present, because the other half of you is somewhere else, managing the instability. Now I want to speak to the you do not even realize how happy you will be part, because this is the most important thing in the message, and I want to give it its full due. There is a happiness coming that you cannot currently fully imagine, not because you lack imagination, not because you are limited in your ability to hope or dream or envision, but because the happiness that is forming is the specific happiness of a particular kind of relief, that can only be felt by someone who has been carrying a particular kind of weight for a particular length of time and then sets it down. The relief of setting down a weight you did not fully realize you were carrying until you set it down and felt the difference. That is the happiness that is coming. The specific, embodied, full relief of a body and a mind and a spirit that have been working so hard for so long, finally getting to stop working that hard and discovering what they feel like when they are not. You cannot fully imagine this happiness right now because you have not felt it yet in this form. You have not experienced the specific texture of a morning where the financial anxiety is not the first thing that greets you, or the specific lightness of a decision made without the calculation, or the particular joy of being in a home that feels genuinely, permanently yours. But you are going to feel all of it sooner than you think. I want to speak about the jackpot energy specifically because it is the first word in the title, and it implies something significant, something that arrives with a size that exceeds what you were calculating as the likely outcome. A jackpot is not just a good outcome. It is an outcome that was beyond what felt probable. That arrives in a form or a size or a combination of things that was outside the range of what you were actively hoping for, because hoping for it seemed unrealistic, seemed like too much to want. Given where you were starting from, what is forming for you has that quality. The quality of exceeding expectation, not by a small margin, by the kind of margin that makes you want to double check that this is actually for you, that this is actually happening, that you did not misread or misunderstand or allow yourself to want something that was not actually available. It is available. It is for you. And it is arriving. I want to give you something practical to do with this information, because information without action is just a nice feeling. And I want this to actually change something in how you move through the days between now and when it lands. The first thing, let yourself want the home, the specific version of home that is yours, not the practical version, not the version that makes sense given your current circumstances, the version you actually want, the one that feels like you fully, without compromise, let yourself want that out loud without managing the wanting downward into something that feels safer to want, because it is less likely to disappoint. The second thing, notice any opportunities related to money or resources or income that arrive in an unexpected form, and say yes faster than your fear. Before the analysis builds its case against it, the jackpot often arrives through a door you were not watching and passes quickly past people who are still checking whether it is safe to open. And the third thing, start living as if the stability is already forming. Not pretending, not performing, having something you do not have yet, but taking small steps that a stable person takes, that a person with a solid foundation takes, that a person who is moving toward more rather than managing less would take, and let those steps pull the stability toward you. As much as you are moving toward it, the jackpot is real. The home is forming. The money is moving toward you. The stability is building its foundation, quietly, steadily, in the way that real things build, without announcing themselves, until they are ready to arrive. And the happiness, the specific unprecedented happiness of a life that has finally settled into something solid and right and fully yours, is waiting for you on the other side of what is arriving. You do not realize how happy you will be, but you are about to find out. And when you do, when that morning arrives, when you wake up in a home that is yours, with the financial anxiety quiet and the foundation solid underneath you, and the happiness so full and present and real that you cannot quite believe that this is actually your life. Remember this message and know that it was always coming. It was always yours, and you were always going to get here. Whew. You just had to get through the getting there. And you did.